Listen, my people, when I can't listen to this video, whether the intellectual youth, when they claim they say they know something, when I can't listen, when I see what happened to our country, Nigeria, how the foreign people use our people up to date, that they carry our oil, they go. Meanwhile, they lie, say, now Igbo people cause war. Meanwhile, now oil cause problem. Meanwhile, we could not listen to what happened. We could not hear. We God bless this man when he come to reveal the truth. How the traditional rulers, all of them, they lie, they give fake information, fake history. Me not listening. My people, may God bless you now. We could not pay attention.
Of oil alone, its discovery, 1956, and then the resolution of led Zik, the president of Nigeria, and Tafawa Balewa's government, the insistence that they will not accept to be exporting crude oil, only to be importing refined products, was the beginning of Nigeria's problems, unknown to many Nigerians. That was the real genesis of the coup that removed them. All other excuses as contained in our history is a lie. My name is Hamza Mustapha. I'm challenging any person, any historian, any institution, any person who believe that what they submitted as excuses for the coup as contained and been taught by generations and generations, including myself when we were younger, are lies. We have investigated and we have known. And to any son of a country who believe his leaders, his elders were killed yesterday as leaders for being patriotic to say that we must have a refinery. They began to build refinery. By 1965, refinery was ready, but excuses were given, they were removed. Many young men were given wrong literature, wrong informations, tiny peanuts. Our leaders were killed, reasons were given. We documented them in history. We are damn wrong. And this is painful, and some of us are coming to the fore.
So the true story is they were killed because of the oil in Nigeria.
It's just the refinery in Port Harcourt. They are resolved to say, we are leaders and we must invest in Nigeria. That decision against exporting crude oil to be taken refinery, which today is called in the modern Nigeria subsidy, is the only game. Nobody can overcome it. We are 18 presidential candidates. I want to know that person who knows this. I want to know that candidate or those candidates who have the solution into turning Nigeria into a new course in alignment with the new world order. These are very bigger issues, and that's why in the course of my discussions, I want to beg to say, where need be, give me more time because this will educate all of us. It's a challenge to all political parties, challenge to all political institutions, challenge to the government of the day, challenge to former presidents, and I want to see former leaders of Nigeria, including religious leaders, coming into a forum for us to tell ourselves the truth. After all, every other country you see on earth that succeeded, they sat back first and talked to themselves. It all started with the United Kingdom. On 1215, they sat down and talked to themselves. Say, we are gazing at the world. Unless we become the world lion, traverse across the world using diplomacy and our military might, we might not be whom we think we were. 1215. French did its own in 1714 or thereabout. And then later, United States, when there were 13 states, they did the same thing, opened their borders, and now dignify immigrants into America, and then allow everybody to come. They fought indigents, became who they became. It's sense. Japan, they did their own after the attack in Hiroshima, and they had two options: confrontation and revenge, or the solution of negotiation. They sat back, negotiated, became stronger, and began to fight. China, Mao Zedong, started his own also in the 40s. They realized that skill acquisition is the way out for a new world order. And that's why there are practical people, from leadership to the last common man. And that attitude called unism has brought them to the fore. Today they are the world's largest market. We were once the same. And today the latest you can see are Singapore and Malaysia. They applied their own love of their country, adjustments to suit their country first, not someone else. Unless Nigeria come together, understand who we are, what we have, and then give a direction. And in the real sense, that is the real word called restructuring. People don't understand, they misinterpret restructuring. What is restructuring? A direction, consumption of a doctrine that will build your country where everybody will participate, where social justice will be all-encompassing, where the law of the land is upon everybody. But today in Nigeria, there are two classes, those above the law and the poor below the law. These are some of the tiny little ingredients that brought us to the poor. And if we are to go into the history of oil dirty politics in Nigeria, there is international dirty oil politics, there is domestic dirty oil politics in Nigeria.
Which one is international dirty oil politics?
That is the role of the international oil companies being utilized by foreign forces. The unseen hand from some certain foreign countries who have invested in our oil wrongly, bringing in government into the power. If you don't do what they want, they kick you out. I can run through and give you a tiny little example of numerous changes you have had that has retarded Nigeria.
Give us.
First of all, let me start this way to tell you that when Led Zik and Tafawa Balewa's decision came to the fore, that was a capital offense against the order given that time. Nigeria earned her independence. But in 1956, with the discovery of oil in Olu Ebri, in Port Harcourt, that was the beginning. In Bayelsa. So the first refinery was the consumption and acceptance of these leaders out of patriotism, out of love for the country. God has given us oil and we shall utilize it here. The world shall come to buy, and the point to serve and to improve and to develop are these leaders. They should be utilized. Immortalized, respected, and to know that that was our direction. But they were outlived, killed, maimed, turned into nobody for the love of Nigeria. Ignorantly, there are elites who accepted a literature to say that they were at fault and all reasons in history were given, many of which are contradictory. That aside, in 1960 and 1965, that was the first experience. So the refinery was there, not commissioned. The first coup came, they were kicked out. And later, the genesis and mismanagement deliberately gave birth to the Civil War. But to be able to do damage to the Civil War, or before the Civil War, then Ironsi came to power. But to be able to do damage control and to show that the unseen foreign hand were not the ones that killed the first leaders of our first generation. Now they honored Zik by him accepting to form a government of national unity. It was a damage control arrangement. So many of our elders were not aware.
It was just to cover
that
what the foreign countries did to Nigeria.
Using oil companies. And I will tell you a lot more. So this country need to adjust to know who we are and where we are. Here, he accepted, he was given national honor. He was also short-lived, but the damage control was partially done. General Gawan came to power. General Gawan, out of the same zeal, the same patriotism, he went ahead straight and committed the first offense unknown to him, unknown to his government.
What was the offense?
He built 3 refineries, one in Port Harcourt, one in Warri, and one in Kaduna.
So was it?
He built it right away. That's the first assignment he did out of patriotism.
And it was against the instructions?
Against the first instructions. The same offense committed by Zik and Tafawa Balewa's government was the same offense General Gawan came to commit, unknown to our elders at that time. That is why today, in all OPEC countries, there is a research going on. That's why we joined the bandwagon to know where we went wrong, how our leaders went wrong, and how we can get ourselves adjusted. We took it upon ourselves to do so. These are things you can't find in textbooks. You have to fight for, you have to scavenge for, and you have to make arrangements with international bodies to do so. And this dirty games is still becoming extremely much more dangerous now. When I come to the end, you will understand what I mean. It's extremely dangerous against our democracy, peace and security in Nigeria, and against our survival into the new world antics, the new world dirty order in dirty politics. I continue. General Gawan built, that was his offense. Now General Gawan stayed and now said, and I quote in one of his speeches, and people can research for this. At the time he conceived an idea, he said, with the 3 refineries we have just come up with, we shall build 5 more to be able to make sure that there is adequate supply of oil and all the byproducts to the people enough to themselves to do businesses and to live. A patriotic statement. That is foresight. But Gowon began to now receive blames indirectly. Literature being circulated. His government was being accused as being corrupt. It was patriotism. And here, the more you build, the more you invest in Nigeria, the more you are seen as enemy. And literature is sold to the same Nigerians you are serving, and they call you names. General Gowon later on was short-lived. So these 5 refineries that he planned could not come to fruition. General Gowon